Welcome to today's tutorial. I'm going to show you how we can cut out from this picture here the person and remove them from this background. The tools that I'm going to use are the quick selection tool to start with. This can be found here, though if the icon is showing the magic wand tool, you'll find it underneath it. These tools can be in different locations. We're going to swipe over the area, moving the mouse quickly over the area that we want to select, making sure to go right near the edge as possible without going over too far, making sure there's no areas inside like those glasses, and just tweaking little areas that we can see we didn't quite get into. I'm using quite a small brush here. If we make a mistake and go over, if you Alt click, the brush will change to a minus and subtract what you've selected. There we have the selection made. We are going to go up. As you can see, I made that selection with only 7 pixels. I could have made my brush much bigger. By the way, the yellow marker is only an indicator so you can see the mouse easier. The black circle, white circle is the actual brush. As you can see, we have a plus sign. When we press the Alt, it goes to a minus. When we've got the plus sign, we're adding to the selection. And when we press the Alt button, we are subtracting it with the minus. Once made that selection, we go to the top here, we find Refined Edge. Now the Refined Edge dialog box will open up. I'm just resetting these tools here because, as you can see, there's a Remember Settings setting. Once you find your own preferences, you can keep them. Selecting the Smart Radius tool here, and I'm going to lift the radius up. I'm going up quite high, about 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 pixels. And if you want to find out how much to go, as you see, my brush at the moment is 35. We'll take it up to 60 plus. You can see well over 60 is good. In fact, we can push it up more towards 100. And you can see that will be quite a good radius. So let's push that slider right up. Before I go any further, I ought to have pointed out the various backgrounds you can have. We have the overlay, the black. We can have a white background. We can go black and white, which basically is showing you what the mask looks like. We can see what it looks like with the mask taking effect, and we can see what it was like before we started. Not sure why we want that one, but let's go to the overlay, which resembles the quick mask. Click anywhere outside somewhere and it goes back to the normal screen. If you want to see how wide the quick Smart Radius is working, you can see here the various widths of the area being selected. It goes on to the subject and onto the background, giving a plus and minus area. If we turn the Smart Mask off, you'll see now that the entire area is the same width throughout. But turning the Smart Radius back on, it gives us a better selection, and obviously the computer hasn't got to work so hard. We'll turn that off because we don't need to see it. Sometimes we need to refine the radius tool, so we go here and select this brush. As you can see, there's 2 options there. We select and paint on areas that we would like to investigate. We need to select areas that the edge detection can look into a little bit further and try to pick up those stray bits that it missed. As you can see down here, we can select a nice extra bit of area to try and get some more of those wispy ends. In fact, a lot of area around hair often has a lot of wispy ends, and it's quite often advantage to brush out a bit further. Where the Smart Radius works quite well is along constant edges like the fabric of the clothing at the bottom there. We don't need to investigate that any further. We come down here and you can see in this area that there is a little bit of green showing through, so I'm just going to go in over there just to make sure that's nicely done. Let's have a quick look at the mask. And I'm thinking that looks quite well now. You can see fine hairs there, and around here. So we go back to the overlay and we come down to the bottom here and we've got output. Now then, with the output we got the decontaminate colors and a selection of how to output. There's various options there. I prefer the new layer with layer mask being the best option. If you look at this area around here, you can see that some areas there might be some contamination of the green background. If we turn this on and off, you'll see that that is much cleaner when it's on. It makes a subtle difference, but overall it does help. We're going to click OK, and there we are with the mask applied on a new layer. You can see some areas such as this where there's some green showing through. If we double click on the mask, we open up the properties tool, and here we can make a few extra selections, and in fact we can even select masked edge and go back into the refined edge tool, and here we can tell it to look a bit deeper in some more areas and say we're not happy with this, try again. So we wipe over that. Also, it's quite handy to put a bit of a feather on your image, not too much. It depends on the resolution. We are working on a full resolution here image. As you see down the bottom, it's 102 megabytes, so it's quite a big file. I'm going to select the same output as before. This will create a new layer with layer mask, so it gives us the option that if we are not happy with the new selection, we can go back to the original one. We didn't really improve a great deal, so I've gone back to the original mask, and you can see here we got some areas which are not quite black or white. So I'm going to go over to the burn and dodge tool. These might be in different locations on your computer depending on where you set them up. In CC you can adjust where they all are. Let's do a bit of dodging. I'm going to dodge some areas there, which is going to give us a much sharper white on any selection area. Just go around those fine detailed spots, and now we're doing a bit of, there we go, we're going to get those greys blacker with the burn tool. We've got quite a good selection there, some good definition of the hair. I'm now going to take the move tool. Now we've got a background image here which we're going to replace it with, and take this tool up, and here we're going to grab this and go on to the tab for the background, new background layer, and drop the image here. Just align it in position where you want it to go. And this is where sometimes the contaminated color from the backgrounds can show through. If you do get this, we have a quick workaround for this. Make a new blank layer and click on the mask, press your Alt key and drag up to the layer above and let go, and you'll see that we've copied the layer mask to the new area. I'm going to get the brush tool, and what I need to do is pick up a colour of the hair. Adjust this brush and what I'm going to do now is paint around the edge of the hair, and because of the mask it will only show, I'm just going to make the brush a bit bigger there, it will only show where the hair is and not on the background, because the mask is preventing it from going anywhere outside of that area. Now I know what you're thinking, that's terrible, oh my goodness me, but let's see what we can do. We got the blending mode, we'll change it to colour, and all of a sudden we can now see the colour of the green has disappeared from the hair, and we've got a much better looking hair. Okay, you might say those colours are not quite good, we didn't pick up a very good colour. If you don't pick up a good colour the first time, reselect the colour and paint some more, because now we've got the blending mode already changed, and you'll actually see the effects that you're painting right away. And there we go, and I think that now looks more like a person that was originally at Totnes by the river when we took their picture. One final thing we'd like to do is we come over to the layers, making sure you have the top layer selected there, and my favorite key, press Control Shift Alt E, and that makes a composite layer above all the others and our final image. There's the background and there's the final image with the person in place. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you've learnt something from that today. If you have any ideas for further tutorials, please make a comment below and we'll do our best to help out. Don't forget to press like and hit the subscribe button. See you soon.